Okay, in the vise you see a Paraloop Emerger. One of the questions for this Sunday's upcoming live event was, can you give me some tips on a Paraloop Emerger? Well, my top tip is, don't bother. I don't like tying them, I don't use them, but for the sake of hard workers' question, I thought I might as well add a fly to the equation. So without further ado, let's get into it. So in the vise is a Hanak H300 barbless hook. It's at size 10. This is a medium wire hook and it's in black nickel. The thread I'm going to be using today is the Vivis GSP. It's at 50 denier and as you can see it's just a plain white thread. So first thing I'm going to do is add a little touch of super glue onto the shank. Yep, I did find it. And I'm going to cast my thread on. Use the thread to spread the glue up the shank, and this just holds it all into place. So I don't need to go much further back than that at the moment, and I'm just going to remove my waste. Okay, so next, I don't tie a lot of these flies, so I'm not about to run out and buy a gallows tool. Now if you don't know what that is, I'll leave a little Instagram bar up the top so you can have a look at what a gallows tool is. I don't like this style of fly personally. I much prefer a parachute style, but hard workers asked me to show how it's done, so I'm going to give it a go. So the post I'm going to use is the ultra dry yarn from Fish On. And I've already taken a bit out of the packet. Now I've actually made a post out of this already, but what you do with it, when it comes out, it's quite thick. It's a little bit thicker than the arrow wing. So I just comb it out, just so I get a good idea of what I'm dealing with. Turn it round, comb out the other side just to get rid of any loose fibres. And then I would want about just under half of that, and I'm happy enough with that. Take away any bits and bobs. You want it long enough on this side so you can cut it at a slant, so I'm going to lay it on there. I'll get one turn in just to hold it into place. Make sure it's sitting on top of the shank of the hook, and then you can catch in the remaining part. Now I'm going to cut that away at a slant, so that will help me with the taper when I come to do that. So I'll just take that down a little more, and I'm going to take it to about there. I'm going to tie this short and then bring it back up to the top. Now before I do anything else, I'm going to unruffle my thread and get a load of wax onto the silk here, and that's just going to make my life a little bit easier when I come to start building this post up. So as I said, I've jury rigged a gallows using just a second set of hackle pliers I've got here, and I'm going to just hook that on like so. Okay, so that's what gallows does, only they don't look like this, they look a bit fancier. I've not bothered. So I'm going to come in front of the post and tie it, and then what I'm going to do now is just awkwardly get a few thread wraps round, and I'm doing about 1/4 of an inch, and because I've heavily waxed this, it will just help the post stand up. I don't know why, I just don't have much success with this style of fly, hence I don't much bother tying with it. But I know some people like it, so if you do intend to if you do intend to fish a lot of the Paraloop style, I would definitely recommend that you invest in a set of gallows. I'm too cheap, so as I said, I'll show you a quick photograph of my jury-rigged version of the gallows when I'm finished. Okay, so let's just bring the thread back down to the bottom, and I'm going to tie a fairly simple emerging pattern here. I think the Paraloop's best utility is to do that with emerging patterns. So I've got, I'm just using stuff I've got handy. This is the Vivas P01 in medium, and I'm going to just take a little bit of that off the reel, and it's just a pearl mylar that I'm going to use as a rib. So I'm going to catch that in, and as you can see, it is fairly awkward while you've got your post jury rigged as I have here, but it can be done. It just takes a little bit more time. There's probably an easier way, but as I say, because I don't tie very many of these, I've not got much need to bother with it. So the dubbing I'm going to use is just the same stuff I had out last night. It's the trout stalker dubbing, and it's the Highland peat flavour. So I'll just grab a little bit of that and dub it onto my thread. Now you'll still get a fairly nice looking fly, I would think, but I'm just not that keen on the way it sits in the water. I think you get much better presentation with a parachute. So bring that round. I'm going to need a bit more dubbing. Using both hands just to bring the dubbed thread round. It is a little bit awkward, but I've done worse things. And I'm on the last wee straighten out. And as I get level with the post, I'm going to stop there. Then, because I'm using the mylar here, it's pretty tough, but I want to make sure if this ever sees the light of day for fishing, that the teeth of the fish don't damage my rib. So I'll just catch a bit of super glue onto the inside. I'm going to have one turn onto the bare hook shank here, and then I'm going to bring my rib up, my dub body. I could have done any number of different types of body. I've played about with stripped quill in the past, but on this occasion I've decided just to use this. So I've caught that in now. I'm going to come back to this side, the hook side of the post, and then I'm going to remove my spare rib. Put that to the side. There's a bit there for another fly, because I won't be tying another one of these. Now, I've already selected feathers from this dyed black grizzle cape, and I've got just a natural grizzle cape, and I'm going to use 2 feathers which I've prepared before the video. As you can see, I've got a little stalk there, and the same goes for the natural grizzle cape. So I've got 2 stalks. Now, before I show that up to the hook, I'm going to just strip away my excess dubbing. I don't require it at the minute. And I'm going to get plenty of wax onto my thread. Okay, I'm just marrying up my 2 stalks. Gives quite a nice effect when you use 2 different feathers. So I'll bring that up like so. Now I'm going to add the tiniest bit of dubbing just in front of the post now. not much, just a little bit, just in front of the post, like so. Okay, so I can park my thread there for the moment, and once I've located my hackle pliers, I can then come in and grab the tips of the feather. Now, what I want to do is get, it's always just difficult getting this started, so bear with me while I bully it round, and then not in open turns, but you don't need to be getting your turns so tight as there's no room on your post. Now that's just misbehaving a little bit for me, but because I've got the jury-rigged gallows tool here, it's not too bad. So that's as high up as I want to come, and now I'm going to work my way back down through the hackling I've just done, all the way to the bottom. Get as many turns in as you like. There's no set wraps with this. I'm fairly happy with that. Now with my thread, got a malfunction with the Beavis there. I'm going to keep my hackle pliers down below the shank of the hook, and I'm going to bring my thread up around as close to the shank as I can get it. So I'll do that with one turn, and I'm going to do it again. Bring it round. You need to release it and then come round, because you've got, you know, it's not like David Copperfield. I can't make my hands go through the end there. So I'm now convinced I've got that in place. I'm going to get a couple of turns in front of the eye, going the right way, and then I'm going to cut away my two hackling feathers, like so. Okay, it's just about looking how I'd like it. Well, I think. So that's looking not too bad. So at this point, you can make sure your thread's in place. I'm just going to put a tiny little bit of wax on. I don't want too much on, because I intend to use it to slide. Grab your post, and then I can just get that out of the way. And then what I intend to do is, with my thumb and forefinger in my left hand, slick everything back out the way and bring it forward. Now the only time I really use the paraloop technique is for tying big reds, and other than that I don't much bother with it. So I've got a couple of turns in now, and I'm just going to pull that up nice and tight. Like so, and then I'm going to get myself in front of my post with my thread. Now, at this point, I'm going to trim. You can trim your post right away to nothing. I'm going to leave a little bit to simulate a breather on the front here. Then I'm going to grab a little bit more of my Highland peat. Not much. And I'm going to have a turn in front of my hackling, and I'm going to have just enough material there to bring me right to the front of the hook. Now I don't want to build a head per se with this, so I'm going to just rest the thread, put a tiny little bit of super glue on. I'll put a couple of wraps in, and then I can come in with the whip finisher, keep everything back out the way, 3-turn whip finish. And the job's a good one. Take away that rough bit, and there you have a Paraloop Emerger. I hope that's what you were after, hard worker, and that's answered your question. Thanks for watching, folks. I hope that's what you were after, hard worker. If you enjoyed that, please consider subscribing to the channel, and I'll see you all next time.